Hey guys, how y'all doing? I'm here to give you guys a recap on the new episode of Sword Art Online Alicization on episode 10. Now, after watching this episode, I could imagine a lot of crazy criticism from many people who would see this episode as terrible or possibly something beyond that. I may agree with that, but at the same time, I think it's supposed to have something else involved, but I think I'm just talking nonsense. But all I can say is, whoever watched this episode, how am I supposed to say it, would just possibly criticize it for what it did, etc., and how maybe somewhat explicit and, or should I say, a little implicit it was because of those scenes right there. Well, if you don't want to watch the episode and if you don't know what I'm talking about, and depending on what kind of disgusting actions you hate most, I highly recommend you just watch this recap and not watch the episode at all, if anything. I'll give you certain details here and there, but yeah, that's about it. I'm just going to recap this new episode of Sword Art Online Alicization on episode 10, but as I said, if you hate disgusting actions, I just recommend you watch this recap alone. Trust me. But if you're going to go watch the episode, get ready to cringe and get ready to not look at the screen or get ready to want to cover your ears or even cover your face, because that's what I've been doing most of the time. But, as I will say, karma at its finest. Okay, enough of me being stupid and blabbering on like an idiot about people going to hate the episode or criticize the episode and showing those scenes whatsoever. Let's just get this recap started. We have to it that it starts off with a rainy day, a heavy storm obviously, and Kirito and Yujiro are worried about their disciples Ronye and Tiese. And apparently we see to it that after Kirito went off to go take a look at a couple things, we see to it that someone, Frenica, I think that's the friend of Ronya and Tiese, end up telling Yujiro what just happened, and they have not returned. They want to talk to the two people that were responsible for her predicament of freaking what the hell just happened to Frenica. Yujiro realizes there's something wrong, and he ends up opening the door and goes to the noble's door and asks him what the hell is going on here. Those two says, "Oh, you're here. Come in, have a drink. It's not once in a while that you get to have something good." Except Yujiro says, "That's not why I'm here. Where is Ronye and Ts?" And therefore, they decide to show Yujiro what they did to them. They literally hog-tied them in a certain sense, or tied them up, and they have their mouths muffled up. And apparently, they say this is our right to punish them because they actually accused us and disrespected us in a certain way. I'm thinking in my mind, if I saw that right there, and if I were to see someone I care about like that, I would not react very greatly about this. Yes, those two are tied up in a room, and they say they're about to get a punishment because of what they did to us. And whatever punishment I do, it is my right. Later on, Yujiro was trying to take action after those two threw themselves onto the two girls, Ronye and Tiese. And Tiesa can only scream for help, while Yujiro was trying to he was literally trying to move, but his legs are freezing up because of the taboo index whatsoever. Later on, his eye will end up having that same system alert on his right eye, but Yujiro, through his undying will and knowing that he cannot take this anymore, he finally broke through at the cost of his right eye, drew his sword, and cut off Humbert, or the great nobleman's arm off. And we see to it that what's the other guy's name? I don't know. He ends up saying, "Oh, now you're a criminal now I could lop off your head with no problem." But Kirito shows up right in the nick of time and clashes against him and cuts off both of his arms, and after he destroys his sword eventually. Eventually, that guy was trying to ask Humbert, or the great nobleman's arm, whose arm got cut off, for help, but apparently he's unable to because of the taboo index. And later on, after malfunctioning and dying, he ends up dying in a certain way of shock and blah blah blah, speaking out loud. That guy ends up dying, and I go well, that guy deserved it, but well, whoever aside from that, we see to it that Humbert, or whatever that guy's name, which I don't even bother remembering, because like I said, he's only meant to be there for a certain plot device, if anything, and he will not be important anymore. He's just fodder on the sideline. We see to it that Kirito and Yu-Gi-Oh tend to Ronya and TSA, and they seem to be okay. But apparently, that same thing that showed up on the first episode of Sword Art Online Alicization ends up saying report already in progress, or report already made, or the report's already been sent already. So yeah, apparently we see to it that Yu-Gi-Oh and Kirito the next morning are to be arrested or escorted to a certain location, obviously. And we see to it that before Yu-Gi-Oh is gone, he has his right eye restored due to some sacred arts whatsoever. The woman therefore gives only a couple good words of encouragement to Yu-Gi-Oh and Kirito. You guys managed to actually break the taboo index, and I give you props for that. But now you need to follow your own sword, your own will, and with your friend, Yu-Gi-Oh. You too, Kirito, I never knew much about you, but look after Yu-Gi-Oh and do everything you can, alright? So therefore, they end up going to their location where they're gonna get their escort. And that escort is Alice Synthesis 30, which we get to see an older Alice right in front of Yu-Gi-Oh and Kirito. Obviously, this is just Alice, alright? There is no denying that. Say whatever you need to say, but yeah, I'm just gonna say it right there, okay? That is Alice Synthesis 30, and we all know who that Alice is. Come on, I mean, it's already obvious, and it shouldn't be any more prep of thinking. This is just a little minor spoiler for all those just anime onlys and never done any research on the light novel. But I'm pretty sure even those who are anime only and just watching this episode, you would know that's actually Alice. Even Yujo's like, Alice? Or something. His face just goes like into shock, you know, by saying, oh my gosh, that's Alice, whatsoever. Okay, enough of me cringing, etc. Enough being cringy to all you guys who I was watching this recap. Without a lot of detail, we have to it that in this entire summary of this episode, Yu-Gi-Oh ends up having to save Ronya and TSA after realizing getting some information from Freddyka, and then Kirito comes in to save Yu-Gi-Oh, and he ends up killing the nobleman, while the other one is left alive with one arm. Sucks for him, but he deserved it. Now, like I said, I could imagine a lot of people criticizing and hating this episode because of what was shown in here. But hey, that's what happened in the light novel and etc. But the way I look at it is like a personal kind of justice to have in mind. I mean, like you see something disgusting and wrong, even if it's the right of that person to give a punishment to, honestly, almost no one's gonna stand there and watch. They're gonna do something. I mean, like if I see someone I care about greatly and love about, that means a lot to me, I ain't gonna sit my butt down and let that happen. I'm gonna go over there and go, get your hands off her, or him or her, kind of thing. So yeah, like I said, it was a tough episode to watch. Even I had to close my eyes or cover my face once in a while because of what was happening. So yeah, like I said, if you really did not want to watch any disgusting actions of what one could do, then you're better off watching a recap of mine, even though it's a little bit long, but best not to get the imagination of it. But aside from that, yeah, the episode was pretty simple. Those two noblemen tried to give out their punishment by violating the disciples of Kirito and Yu-Gi-Oh, but Kirito and Yu-Gi-Oh weren't going to have it. Well, Yu-Gi-Oh wasn't going to have it, and Kirito jumps in, and of course, they all get escorted to be arrested by Alice Synthesis 30 whatsoever. Next episode is called Central Cathedral. So, we're getting to that tower already, and we're almost done with the first core, which I'm pretty sure we all know that this entire series of Sword Art Online Alicization is gonna last about a year. Well, it started in fall, and then it's gonna end somewhere close to fall, but we'll see. Aside from that, like I said, episode was very hard to watch, very cringe, and I'm pretty sure anyone could hate it. I can understand the justification, obviously, but yeah. Aside from that, nothing much I can say. Until then, I will see you guys in the next video. I'm Alpha Zero, people. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time, right? Peace out. Bye-bye. Toot-toot-toot!